So this is just a walkthrough of the two quads I've got in case anyone else is interested in doing the same thing. This is a GGI 450 frame. It's running the Emax 2213 935 kilovolt motors, which are similar to the DJI ones, not quite the same. It's running an RC timer, brushless gimbal. It's got some cheap landing legs, which are plasticky, but they're actually quite springy, so they take up quite a hard landing. On it we have the standard DJI NASA M controller, and I'm running a V8 FR2 receiver, which supports the safe mode. I've got the GPS there for the NASA. I'm running a Cyclops OSD, which is under here, and the GPS for it here. I'm using the output from the GoPro 3 Black through the video out from my FPV. The transmitter is at the back here. It's a 5.8 gigahertz immersion transmitter with the little immersion aerials. I'm also running a cheap mobile phone, Android phone, on it. This is just a kind of extra safety measure. I use Glimpse on that, which updates my GPS location in real time onto the internet, which means that just in case it does fly off or whatever, I should have know what its last location is, have a chance of finding it. The Cyclops also supports the voltage monitoring, which is and current monitoring, which is this thing here. And I run it with these Zippy Compact 3700 packs. With that I get about 8 minutes running time. So I think that's it. Oh yes, props. I'm using RC timer carbon props, 10x5s. They seem to work pretty well without the motors getting too hot, still giving me enough thrust. The way I mount my battery is it just almost custom built, fits in like that, nice and solid. And then it just plugs in, so that works quite well. And lastly with this one, because sometimes I want to fly in vicinity with paragliders and paramotors, I want to have some additional protection around the props. So I have this cage that I built, which straps on the top here. It's made of beech wood. It's very strong. You can pick it up with it, you can bounce it, so it keeps the props away from anything. And all it takes to mount it is I have some reusable tie wraps here, 4 points, straps down in the centre, tight as could be, and once it's in there, you know, it's not moving anywhere. Props are completely protected from damaging anyone. You're not trying to protect props here, I'm trying to protect people from the props, and they do a pretty good job of that. So that's quad 1. So here's quad 2. Quad 2 is the same frame, it's a cheap DJI copy, and it's the original DJI motors that this is running. So they're pretty much the same as the other ones, the 2212 920 kilovolt ones, but they're pretty similar. It's a lighter prop, this machine this, so I'm running 11x5 RC timer motors on it. The landing legs are cheap Vulcan ones. I've just got 3 landing legs effectively, and then I've just got this light piece of carbon fiberglass tube across the front just to give it kind of a bit of stability. But I wanted to keep it light, and I wanted to keep everything out of the way of the video. The brushless gimbal is a Good Look Buy brushless gimbal, which is mounted underneath the frame here. That's working okay, but it needs a bit of tuning. I think it's mainly just the props that need to be balanced a bit at the moment. We're running the same receiver, V8FR2, which lets me have a safe mode. The main board here is the Fly, so it's the Quadcopter compatible one. I'm running 2.9 on that, and you can see a little bit of foam I've got stuck on top of the barometer. I've still got my old Sonic, ultrasonic stuff on here, but it's not connected to anything. The ESCs wise, they're 20 amp Hobby King Simon K flashed. The Fly is running a GPS module as well. I'm powering the board through a separate U-bet, which is here. I've disconnected all of these ones. I was having problems with these. They were working, then they were not working, and so I've just split them all out and it's just running this now. It's a lighter prop. This doesn't need as big battery, so it's just running at 2200. Both of them are 4S. At the moment, that's about it really. The plan is I will be adding video transmission to this as well, but just now, and 433 megahertz radio telemetry, but just now, that's it. So the final two bits of kit are my transmitter and my video receiver. So just the standard Fat Shark goggles that I'm using. I use my own 2S battery packs here, and I have a spare one. So just in case you're halfway through a flight and it dies, you just plug in the other one. So that's that. I also use the secondary video out from this through a cable here to my transmitter, and I have a screen on here. So this screen is powered by another light post stuck on the back here, a little 3S, so that when I'm flying I have the goggles usually just stuck at the top of my head and transmitting video to here, so I can always see the video out. But if I want to do FPV, I can just pull the goggles down over my eyes and fly FPV a bit. But I've always got this screen as well available to me. So this is just the standard TH9X GPU controller. I use this for both quads. For the Quadcopter, I have this switch that you can buy off eBay. It's just a kind of 6-way switch and some variable resistors, which gives you access to all the 6 flight modes nice and easily. So I've got them all set up. For the NASA, I've already got it all set up the way I want it anyway, so I'm not using this. I could do it at a later date, but the NASA is slightly more complicated in the sense that it uses 2 channels to control all its modes, so it would still be kind of awkward. The way I've got this controlling NASA modes is that by default it's flying in what they call Alt-A mode, so it's kind of stabilised, Alt-A aware, GPS aware mode. But if all I really want to be able to do is switch between standard flying, FPV type flying, and the heading aware mode in NASA, and this lets me do that. So this switches me between flying the direction that the quad's looking at and flying the direction that I started it up in. The other thing that I can do is that I can actually activate return to home on it. So my default is that I'm flying fine, but if I want to flick return to home on, I can just flick that up and it'll do return to home. And return to home is also what the safe mode's set at, so if I switch it off or it loses transmission, it goes to return to home. The only other thing I've set up for the NASA mode is the middle position of the switch. When I switch it on, it puts the throttle to 50% provided the throttle's at 0. So basically you're flying along, say around about 50%, I can flick that to 50%, which will take me up to 100% throttle, knock that to 0, and I'm now on exactly 50%, which is just an easy way of making sure that the altitude's completely stable. there you go. Obviously you've got your gimbal control, and I use for both quads, I use this as my gimbal. I'm not using anything else other than I have the DR set up for the yaw, so that it becomes a lot less sensitive around the middle point, which is useful for keeping video stable. There you go.